Everybody knows that in the cruise ship casino, the house always has an advantage. But if you stop making these mistakes, you can start tilting the odds back in your favor. What's up, everybody? Jay Anderson here with Free to Cruise, and today I want to talk about the biggest mistakes I see people make in a cruise ship casino. The first one I see, and I see this all the time when I'm cruising, is not understanding the casino loyalty program of the cruise line you are on. Before you even step on the ship, if you are planning on gambling, you need to understand how the program works, because they're all different. There's a lot of areas of these loyalty programs that can trip you up. So first of all, that means, is there an award chart that shows you how many points you need to earn for a free cruise? Some lines are really transparent about this and will post it all over the casino, and it's really easy to see what you need and to set your goals. Some lines are a lot less transparent, and that's important to know if you're going to know what you need or if you don't know what you need, because that's going to help you set your goals and your budget accordingly. Secondly, you're going to want to know how each cruise line is going to rate your play in the casino. Now, the earning rates for things like slots and video poker, you can find most of those online. Those are easy to see and find. But for stuff like table games, that's going to be a lot trickier. And if you're a big table game player, there's going to be some experimentation there with trying to figure out how many points you're earning for your play. That's really going to be up to the discretion of the pit bosses, and some lines are going to be much more generous than others. And finally, you're going to want to make sure you're tracking your points throughout the cruise so you can see how you're trending towards your goal. Again, this is going to be much easier with things like slots and video poker versus table games, because you'll be able to see your points right on the machine. But even with table games, you want to make sure you ask every night how many points you have so you can see how you're progressing. To summarize, before you go on the cruise, make sure you know, is there an award chart that lays out how many points you need, the earning rate of those points, and how you can track those points towards your goal. The second mistake people make is drinking too much while in the casino. Now, there is a reason casinos give you free drinks, and it's not because they are generous. They know that the more you drink, the lower your inhibitions are, and that's going to lead to you making bigger bets or betting more than you normally would. For me personally, I play a lot of craps, and when the table's full and there's a lot of action going on, it can be tough to keep track of everything. Sometimes dealers do make mistakes. They can forget to pay you, or maybe they pay you the wrong amount. So I really want to make sure I'm paying attention and I know what's going on. So for that reason, I usually keep my drinking to a minimum when I'm playing. Another mistake I see is people not taking full advantage of the perks the casino is giving them. There's so many additional ways to pick up a couple of extra dollars here and there. You really want to make sure you're tracking all of it and taking advantage of all of it. The first perk you want to make sure you're taking advantage of is stockholder benefits. Now, every major cruise line does this, and what this essentially means is if you hold 100 shares of the parent company's stock, you can submit to the cruise line and they'll reward you with some onboard credit. Usually it's anywhere from $50 to $200, typically in the $100 range, but it really depends on the length of your sailing. But this is absolutely something you should be taking advantage of because it's just free money in your onboard account. And one thing to remember is you don't have to hold the company's stock forever if you don't want to. You can always sell it once you get the credit. Another perk you need to keep an eye out for is free play in the casino. And I really wish casinos were more transparent about this, but obviously it's in their best interest if you're not aware of it. And a lot of people don't even realize they have it. And once you leave the ship at the end of your sailing, it's gone. It's not coming back. So you really want to make sure you're aware of what you have and you use it before you get off the ship at the end of your journey. If you're confused about your free play, you can usually just speak to a host about it and they will get you set up. The last thing you should be aware of is any sort of special promos or happy hours or anything like that that the casino is running during your sailings. Not every cruise line does this, but if it's available, you should definitely take advantage. Can be something like a drawing for some extra free play or bonus tier credits if you're playing during a certain period of time. It's just going to make your life easier overall if you're trying to earn a free cruise. The final mistake I'm going to talk about is going to be a little bit controversial, and it can get you into trouble if you're not careful, but it's not charging your casino play to your room so you can pay with a credit card. I know a lot of people like to bring cash, and that's sort of how they stick to their budget, but you're really just missing out on 3% of additional value at minimum if you're not using a credit card to pay for your casino charges. Now, that 3% advantage can neutralize a lot of the house edge on a lot of casino games, and that's a pretty big deal. There's two key details to remember here. The first is to make sure there are no fees for charging to your room. Many cruise lines will allow you to room charge in the casino without a fee, but there are some that do have some sort of convenience fee or charge, so you want to make sure there's no fee before you do this. The other detail that's important to remember is to make sure you're using a credit card that rewards a bonus on travel expenses. How this works is at the end of the cruise, your entire bill, including your casino charges, are going to be charged to the credit card on file. That means you'll get bonus points on the entire final bill, which includes any casino charges you have. One bonus mistake to avoid, and this is important if you're charging to a credit card and taking cash off the ship at the end of the cruise, is to be aware of how much cash you're leaving the ship with. If it's over $10,000, that's going to be subject to a customs declaration. And if you don't declare it and it gets seized, it's not going to be a fun time for you. There was recently a guy in Canada who tried to do this, and he had to pay a huge fine to get his cash back. Your best bet, just keep it under $10,000 and you won't have a problem. So that's it. Those are the big mistakes that I see. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully you learned something. And if you like this type of content, make sure you follow, subscribe for more.